My father's name flashes on my phone screen for the fifth time. I watch it vibrate against my glass desk, the sleek surface a sharp contrast to the scratched oak table where I once completed homework as a child. Outside my window, Chicago's skyline gleams in the afternoon sun. 5 stories above the city and 800 miles from the Reynolds home where I learned to shrink myself into silence. I hover my finger over ignore once again. The leather chair creaks softly beneath me as I shift my weight. The phone finally goes still. 3 seconds later, an email notification appears from Lawrence Reynolds. Subject: Your sister needs you. Last chance. My stomach tightens as I open it. The sentences blur together, except for the final line. Chloe's wedding is the most important event of her life. Be there or forget about any future support. A voicemail notification appears next. I press play and place the phone on speaker. Mating, it's your father. His voice fills my apartment, authoritative and unwavering. I don't know what game you're playing, but this has gone on long enough. Your sister's wedding is in 2 weeks, and the celebrations begin this weekend. If you cannot set aside whatever grievance you have for Chloe's special time, then you can forget about any future support from this family. Your mother is beside herself with worry. Call me back immediately. A bitter laugh slips from my lips. I walk to the closet and pull out a framed diploma hidden behind winter coats. The gold embossing reflects the light. Maiden Ann Reynolds, Bachelor of Science in Data Science, summa cum laude. 3 years it has gathered dust instead of hanging proudly on my wall, because old habits are difficult to abandon. My phone buzzes with a text from my mother. Please call your father, he is getting impatient. I glance at the calendar on my desk. Chloe's 2-week wedding extravaganza, highlighted in angry red. 14 days of ceremonies, parties, and staged photo sessions for the golden child's flawless celebration. I open my banking app, $138,139 in savings, more than enough to ensure I never need their support again. They just don't know it yet. A memory surfaces. 3rd grade, clutching my report card filled with perfect A's. Mom sitting at the kitchen table, nodding absent-mindedly without looking up from her magazine. That's nice, honey. That same night, the living room erupting with applause for Chloe's participation ribbon from the school play. Did you see how she projected her voice? She was the best one up there. Dad's face glowing with pride while I sat unnoticed on the staircase. The science fair my sophomore year, the blue ribbon I earned for analyzing local water quality, the empty seats where my parents should have been. They'd gone to Chloe's soccer game instead. She scored 1 goal and they talked about it for weeks. Principal Williams handing me my award. Your parents must be so proud. I nodded, the hollow sensation in my chest already familiar. Then senior year, the thick acceptance envelope from the University of Chicago, my hands trembling as I read the scholarship offer. Chicago? Mom's forehead wriggled with concern. That's so far away. Chloe might feel inferior if you go there when she's only attending community college. Dad didn't even lift his eyes from the newspaper. We've discussed this. You're staying local. End of story. The quiet negotiation that followed. I suggested living in the dorms at State, just 20 minutes away for quiet study. They agreed, believing I had surrendered. 2 weeks later, I boarded a bus to Chicago with everything I owned in 2 suitcases, leaving behind a carefully constructed paper trail of community college registration and a false dorm assignment. The calculated gamble of my first real independence. Now I stand before my bathroom mirror, no longer the invisible daughter. My reflection reveals someone they would not recognize. Confident, accomplished, free from the need for their approval. I return to my desk and trace my fingers over my name on the diploma. Maiden Ann Reynolds, product analyst, 6-figure salary. Invisible, no more. My laptop screen glows as I open the airline website. My fingers move with certainty across the keyboard, booking a first-class ticket home. Time they finally see me, I whisper to my reflection in the darkened screen. I pack my designer luggage with careful precision, sliding the diploma between folded clothes. A quiet smile spreads across my face as I imagine their reactions when they finally understand who I have become. Have you ever hidden your success from those who should have celebrated it most? What would you do if your family only valued you when they needed something from you? My homecoming is about to teach them a lesson they never expected. The rental car crunches over familiar gravel. I park behind a florist van unloading cascades of white roses. My childhood home has transformed into something pulled from a bridal magazine. Ivory fabric swags draped elegantly across the porch railings. My mother opens the door before I knock. Her hair dyed a perfect shade of honey blonde, every strand carefully arranged. Maiden, finally. Her embrace feels rehearsed, too rigid, too brief. Decided to support your sister? I step inside the house, scented with vanilla candles and fresh paint. Wedding planning has turned every surface into a display area. My father emerges from his study, reading glasses balanced on his nose. He does not hug me, merely nods while holding a clipboard. Good, you're here. The programs need folding and these guest welcome bags assembled. He presses the clipboard into my hands. Chloe needs these done by 4. I just walked in the door, Dad. And now you have something useful to do. Chloe appears at the top of the staircase, phone pressed to her ear. No, I specifically said cascading arrangement, not gathered. This is literally ruining everything. She notices me and raises one finger, signaling me to wait. Do you understand this is the most important day of my life? When she finally comes downstairs, she air kisses near my cheek. Matt, thank God. The caterer is threatening to quit, and Mom is useless with the seating chart. Nice to see you too, Chloe. Elliot's planning this surprise for the reception, and I need to make sure it coordinates with everything else. Elliot, I repeat, setting down my bag. Her fiancé, my mother explains. You'll meet him at dinner. He's absolutely wonderful. Such a brilliant investor. Crypto millionaire, Chloe corrects Codley. Elliot Brady arrives precisely at 6:30, carrying an expensive bottle of wine and wearing a smile that does not quite reach his eyes. He is taller than I expected, with the polished attractiveness of someone from luxury advertisements. The mysterious sister finally appears. He grips my hand too tightly. Chloe said you were some kind of computer genius hiding away in the big city. Product analyst, I correct. Sounds intense, he winks. I've got some friends developing an AI trading platform, revolutionary stuff. We should talk shop sometime. Throughout dinner, Elliot dominates the conversation with stories of crypto investments and exclusive opportunities. My father listens with admiration. So, which exchanges do you primarily trade on? I ask, during a rare pause. Elliot's smile falters briefly. Oh, a mix. Mostly private platforms. Exclusive access through my network. Fascinating. And your company's based where? We're decentralized, he replies smoothly. The beauty of blockchain, right? I've got partners in Singapore, Zurich, Dubai. My father shoots me a warning look. Maiden, not everyone wants to discuss business at dinner. Later, while searching for wedding programs in my father's study, I discover refinancing paperwork for the house dated 3 weeks ago. The property where I grew up, once nearly paid off, now burdened with a substantial new mortgage. Voices drift from the adjoining dining room. Lawrence, are you sure about this second mortgage? My mother's anxious tone freezes me. That's everything from my inheritance too, Helen. Elliot has guaranteed 20% returns minimum. But $15,000 is... You wouldn't understand investments like these, my father interrupts. This is what
building real wealth looks like. I lean against the wall, my analyst mind calculating risk factors. Second mortgage, family savings, inheritance, all directed toward Elliot's vague investment opportunity. He's a fraud. Aunt Helen's voice is barely audible as we stand in the back garden, pretending to admire her floral arrangements. You see it too, I ask. She nods, her gray eyes, so much like mine, sharp with concern. Your father won't listen to me. He says I've always been jealous of his success. Mr. Wilson down the street lost $40,000 in an exclusive investment opportunity last year, she continues. It sounded frighteningly familiar when I heard about Elliot's proposals. Maiden, a familiar voice calls from the fence line. Mr. Thomas, my old science teacher, waves. I've been following your career. That Chicago data science program you attended is one of the best in the country. I freeze. How did you... Unlike your parents, some of us actually pay attention. Aunt Helen pats my hand, and for the first time since arriving, I feel acknowledged. Dad? Mom? I think we need to talk about Elliot. We're in the living room that evening. What about him? My father does not look up from his newspaper. I've noticed inconsistencies in his business claims. The way he describes his investments doesn't match how crypto markets actually function. My mother sighs dramatically. Honestly, Maiden, you've always been jealous of your sister's happiness. This isn't about jealousy. His investment claims don't match mathematical sense. My father finally looks at me, his expression hardening. You don't understand business at this level, Maiden. Not everything fits into your little spreadsheets. The front door opens and Chloe enters with Elliot. She immediately senses the tension. What's going on? Your sister has concerns about Elliot's business. Chloe's face crumples. Are you serious? You disappear for 3 years and return only to ruin the only good thing in my life? Elliot places a protective arm around her. It's okay, babe. Some people just don't understand innovation. I study their faces, defensive, dismissive, convinced, and realize I have miscalculated. They do not want the truth. They want the comforting illusion that makes Chloe special and Elliot a prince.
The invisible daughter sees everything, but no one wants to look. When you see loved ones heading for disaster, how far should you go to protect them from themselves? Would you risk further rejection to save family who never appreciated you? I tuck myself into the corner booth at Rosie's coffee shop, the same place where I studied calculus during high school. The vinyl seat squeaks beneath me, familiar yet distant now. My laptop screen glows with open tabs: business registries, investment forums, social media profiles. 3 previous identities stare back at me: Ethan Lewis, Edward Lambert, Elliot Lawson, now Elliot Lawrence. My finger traces the pattern on the screen. Same man, different names. Same charming smile, different victims. I sip my black coffee, its bitterness matching the taste in my mouth, as I connect undeniable dots. Need a refill, Anne? Margie, the same waitress from my teenage years, appears beside me, her eyes widening as she studies my screen. My cousin lost everything to a man who looked just like that, called himself Edward something. My stomach tightens. Lambert. That's it. She sets the coffee pot down. Investment scheme, left town right before the wedding, broke her heart and drained her savings. I open another browser window. Margie, would she talk to me? A woman in her 50s sits across from me 2 hours later, her hands trembling around her mug. I thought I was special, Karen whispers. He made me feel chosen. My sister thinks the same thing. Karen slides a folder across the table. Photographs, bank statements, police reports that led nowhere. Her jaw tightens. He disappeared 3 days before our wedding, along with $60,000 and my mother's heirloom ring. The photographs confirm what I already suspect. The account statements reveal transfers to untraceable offshore accounts. The police reports document 3 other victims with similar experiences in 3 different states. I thank Karen and gather my evidence. The wedding is 5 days away. The knot in my stomach tightens. Where have you been? My mother's voice cuts through the hallway as I step inside. The flower arrangements need checking, and Chloe's having a meltdown about the place cards. I glance at my watch. Barely noon. I was researching something important. More important than your sister's wedding? She thrusts the checklist into my hands. Your father has noticed your attitude problem. He says you've barely helped at all. A familiar weight settles on my shoulders. The invisible daughter. Visible only when there is blame. I find Chloe in the dining room, surrounded by sample table settings and crumpled tissues. The calligrapher ruined the font. She glares at me through mascara-smeared eyes. Where were you? I've been texting for hours. I check my phone. 3 messages. The first sent 40 minutes ago. You've always done this, Chloe sniffles dramatically. Disappearing when you're needed, then returning to overshadow me. The accusation lands with practiced precision. For 23 years, my existence has somehow been both insufficient and excessive. I'm trying to help you, Chloe. By avoiding wedding preparations? By questioning Elliot's business? Her voice rises. You can't stand that I found someone amazing while you're alone in Chicago doing whatever boring job pays your bills. I swallow the truth about my boring job that earns twice what she's ever made. Instead, I pick up a place card and examine the allegedly incorrect font. I can call the calligrapher, I offer. Dad already did, Chloe jouts her eyes. At least he supports me. The living room grows silent as I finish presenting my evidence. Printed screenshots, bank records, police reports, and Karen's signed statement spread across the coffee table. My parents sit stunned on the sofa. Chloe perches on the armchair, her face pale. Elliot stands near the fireplace, his expression carefully controlled. This is clearly a case of mistaken identity, his smile never reaching his eyes. I have a common face. People confuse me all the time. 3 different women in 3 different states. I keep my voice steady. All with the same experience of a man matching your description, using similar names and disappearing with their money right before the wedding. Maiden, my father's voice carries a warning. This is absurd. Dad, look at the pictures. I push a photograph toward him. Look at the timeline. Look at the pattern. I've never seen this woman in my life, Elliot insists, gesturing toward Karen's statement. Chloe jumps to her feet. I can't believe you'd go this far to destroy my happiness. Tears stream down her face. You've always been jealous of me. Jealous? The word catches me off guard. I'm trying to protect you. By ambushing my fiancé with these fabrications? Chloe snatches the papers from the table, crushing them in her fist. Chloe, I reach for her arm. The second mortgage, your retirement fund, Mom's inheritance, it's all gone to his investment opportunity. Don't you see the pattern? That's enough. My father stands, his face flushed. You need to leave this house right now. Elliot places a soothing hand on my father's shoulder. Lawrence, it's all right. She's simply concerned for her sister. Misguided, but well-intentioned. His practiced sympathy makes my skin crawl. I'm not leaving. I stand my ground, straightening to my full height. And I'm not the same invisible daughter anymore. Silence fills the room. "What are you talking about?" my mother asks. "I didn't go to community college." The truth rushes out after years of silence. "I graduated top of my class from the University of Chicago 3 years ago. I'm a product analyst at Tech Fusion. I make 6 figures. I've supported myself entirely since I was 18. Their stunned expressions might have been satisfying under different circumstances. That is impossible," my father stammers. "Is it?" I pull out my company ID badge, check my LinkedIn profile, call my office. "I've been someone else entirely while you were too busy with your golden child to notice." Chloe sinks back into her chair, her face shifting between shock and disbelief. "And now I'm giving you one chance, your last chance to see the truth before it's too late." I gather the scattered evidence.
Carefully reassembling the sea, this man is not who he claims to be. The wedding is in 5 days. His pattern is to disappear 3 days before the ceremony, once he has access to all the funds. Elliot's mask slips for just a slight flash of calculation crosses his face before the charming smile returns. "I think we've all heard enough fantasy for one day, my father." His voice has regained its authority. "Madden, I won't ask again. Leave now." I look at each of them, my father's rigid certainty, my mother's conflicted loyalty, Chloe's defensive anger, Elliot's practiced concern. "When he disappears with everything you have," I say quietly, gathering my belongings, "remember that someone tried to warn you." The front door feels heavier than it did when I was 17, sneaking out to study at the library. This time I'm not hiding who I am. This time I'm walking away with the truth they refuse to see. Have you ever had to stand alone with the truth while everyone you love chose comfortable lies? What would you do if you were me? Walk away or fight harder for a family that refused to listen? My next decision will change everything. My phone won't stop buzzing. I set it face down on my kitchen counter and pour another cup of coffee, watching the steam rise in the morning light of my Chicago apartment. 2 days before Chloe's wedding, and the notifications have evolved from demanding to desperate. I flip the phone over. 17 missed calls, 23 text messages, 5 voicemails. The first voicemail plays on speaker. "Madden, he's gone." My father's voice cracks, a sound I've never heard before. "Elliot disappeared last night. Call us back." The second. "The accounts are empty. Everything, even your mother's retirement fund." His commanding tone has vanished, replaced by something hollow. The third catches me off guard. "The police said without a written contract there's little they can do." My mother's voice trembles. "They called it a civil matter. Please, Maddie, we need you to come home." She hasn't called me Maddie since I was 10. Chloe's text glows on the screen. "You were right. I didn't listen. Please help us." I trace my finger around the rim of my coffee mug. From my 15th floor window, Lake Michigan stretches blue and boundless, 15 stories up and a lifetime away from the family that only sees me when disaster strikes. My mentor Vivian answers on the second ring. "You sound troubled," she says instead of hello. "They finally believe me about Elliot," I tell her, "now that he's gone with their money and they want your help." Yes. Vivian's silence holds years of wisdom. She helped me build my career when my own parents couldn't be bothered to attend my graduation. "What are you considering?" she finally asks. I press my forehead against the cool glass of my window. I haven't decided yet. Boundaries aren't walls, Madden. They're doors. You control. After we hang up, I book a flight home for the second time this month. The difference: this time I pack only enough clothes for 3 days. The wedding tent stands half dismantled in the backyard when my cab pulls up, white chairs stacked against the fence. The elaborate flower arrangements, now wilting, still adorn the porch rails. My mother opens the door before I knock, her makeup-free face aged 5 years in 2 days. "You came." Her arms hover for a hug I don't step into too much. My father paces the living room, phone pressed to his ear. He hangs up when he sees me. His eyes flick to my designer handbag, the watch on my wrist. "We thought perhaps you might be able to help with," he clears his throat, "financial assistance until we sort this out." "What will the Hendersons think?" My mother wrings her hands. "And the country club board? Your father is treasurer." Chloe sits curled on the couch, wearing sweatpants and one of my old high school t-shirts she must have found in my former bedroom. Her eyes are swollen. "If you had been more supportive from the beginning, I might have listened." Her voice lacks its usual edge, but the blame lands familiar nonetheless. "You were always so negative about him." I set my handbag on the coffee table and unbutton my coat. The living room feels smaller than I remember.
The walls still display Chloe's dance trophies, and not a single one of my academic achievements. I can help with some things, I say, my voice steady. Not all. My father straightens. Now, Madden, as your father, I can help you file police reports properly. I can contact my colleague who specializes in financial fraud recovery. I can connect you with a lawyer who handles cases like this. I take the points off on my fingers. I cannot replace the money you lost. The silent stretches taut between us. But my mother starts. In 6 figures, I have substantial savings, and I will not sacrifice my financial security to rescue you from a situation I explicitly warned you about. My father's face reddens. This family has supported you your entire life. A laugh escapes me, short, unexpected. Did you? When we put a roof over your head, food on the table, that's the legal minimum, Dad. Chloe uncurls from the couch. So you're just going to abandon us after being right? Is that what matters to you, being right? I meet her gaze steadily. What matters to me is being respected, being heard. I exhale slowly. You need me now, but you've never wanted me. There's a difference. My mother collapses into a chair. How can you be so cold? I learned from experts. The words slip out before I can catch them. For the first time, they all truly look at Madden. Through me, or past me, they see the woman who built herself without their notice, who succeeded without their approval. These are my boundaries, I say quietly. I will help you navigate this legally. I will stay 3 days. I will not empty my savings account or cosign loans. Those are my terms. My father starts to speak, stops, then tries again. When did you become this person? When you weren't looking. Is it our obligation to help family when they've treated us poorly, or is setting boundaries an act of self-respect? What conditions would you set before helping those who only turn to you in crisis? Father paces the living room, each heavy footfall drumming his authority into the floorboards I once tiptoed across. As head of this family, I've always made decisions with everyone's best interests at heart. He stops, squares his shoulders toward me. This situation requires a united front. I sit perched on the same armchair where I'd curl up with books as a child, trying to disappear. Not anymore. Mother wrings her hands, wedding ring clicking against her knuckles. Blood is thicker than water, Madden. Surely you understand that now. The familiar weight of their expectations presses down. I straighten my spine. You've always thought you were better, Chloe's voice cracks. Her mascara-streaked face bears little resemblance to the beaming bride-to-be from wedding invitations still scattered across the coffee table. Perfect Madden with her fancy job and big city life. I check my watch. They've been at this for 27 minutes. The coordinated pressure, the guilt, the attempt to make me fold like the paper dolls Chloe and I once played with. She got the pretty dresses, I got the torn scraps. When I was 8, I say, voice steady, I won the district spelling bee. You told me you couldn't come because Dad had an important meeting. Father's mouth opens. I raised my hand. I saw you both at Friendly's afterward with Chloe celebrating her participation ribbon from field day. The silence hangs frick as summer heat. 10th grade. My science project on agricultural runoff won state recognition. The ceremony was the same night as Chloe's choir concert where she sang in the back row. You chose the concert. Mother's gaze drops to her lap. My high school graduation. You left immediately after because Chloe had a date to prom and needed help with her hair. The grandfather clock ticks in the corner, marking seconds of uncomfortable truth. Christmas 2020. I gave you each thoughtful gifts based on conversations we'd had that year. You gave me a generic gift card with the wrong name on it. The front door opens with a familiar creak. Aunt Helen stands framed in the doorway, clutching her purse like a shield. I saw it all. Her voice wavers, but holds. Every recital you missed, every achievement you downplayed.
I watched this child wilt while you fawned over her sister. Father's face flushes crimson. This is family business. Helen, I am family, my aunt says. Someone in this room needs to acknowledge what happened in this house. I rise from the chair, my full height suddenly apparent in this room, where I spent so many years trying to shrink myself. I'll help with the house. My voice fills the space I never claimed before. I'll cover the second mortgage. I'll arrange for the credit card debt to be consolidated. Their faces flash with relief, quickly hidden. But I won't help with your reputation. I won't pretend Chloe wasn't scammed by a man any decent background check would have flagged. I won't lie to the neighbors about where the money went. I meet each of their eyes in turn.
I won't attend any community functions where you parade me around as the dutiful daughter who swooped in to save the day. Father's jaw clenches. You don't get to dictate terms in my house. I do, when I'm the one with the means to save it. The words taste unfamiliar, powerful, certain. My assistance comes with legal protections for me. The money will be handled through formal channels with documentation. You won't have direct access to any funds. Think of it as a business transaction, not a family bailout. Mother's eyes widen. We're not some charity case. Me, no. You're not charity doesn't come with requirements. This does. From my briefcase, I withdraw 3 copies of a document my lawyer prepared. The paper makes a crisp sound as I place them on the coffee table. This outlines the terms of my financial assistance. One-time solution, not an ongoing relationship. I'll transfer the funds to pay off the second mortgage directly to the bank. The credit card consolidation will go through a financial advisor I've selected. This is ridiculous, Father blusters, but his eyes track the papers. The second page is an acknowledgement. I talk the document. It states that for years you consistently favored one child over the other, creating an environment of emotional neglect. Mother gasps. We would never sign such a thing. Then I'll leave, and you can explain to the bank why you can't make next month's payment. The room falls quiet, except for Chloe's ragged breathing. Father reaches for his reading glasses with shaking hands. You've become hard. I've become honest. I remain standing. The world didn't break me, neither did you, but I won't pretend anymore. He reads silently, pen hovering above the signature line. His hand trembles. Your mother and I did our best. Your best was deeply unequal. The words emerge without anger, just truth. 10 minutes later, all 3 signatures mark the page. I text my financial advisor to proceed with the arrangements we discussed. I pull out my phone and make a call. Miss Winters, we're proceeding with Plan A. Yes, the full arrangement. I listen briefly. Thank you. The documentation has been signed. You'll receive copies within the hour. I turn to my family. Rachel Winters is a certified financial advisor who specializes in family debt restructuring. She'll contact you tomorrow to begin the process. Everything will go through her, not me. Father opens his mouth to object. This isn't negotiable, I say. She'll ensure the mortgage gets paid and creditors are handled properly. The money never touches your accounts directly. I gather my things without rush or ceremony. No tearful embraces, no promises to call soon. I hope you find peace with your choices. I straighten my jacket, check that I have everything. Aunt Helen follows me onto the porch. Will you be all right? The afternoon sun warms my face as I look at the street where I once waited for a school bus, dreaming of escape. I already am. I walk to my rental car, back straight, steps measured. The rearview mirror shows the house growing smaller, but I don't look back. Some bridges can't be rebuilt. Some shouldn't be. Sunlight streams through the bay windows of my home office, casting golden red rectangles across the maple desk, where I've arranged my life in neat, purposeful rows. My Chicago apartment is gone, traded for this craftsman bungalow with its solid bones in history. 1 year since I walked away from the Reynolds family drama. The diploma now hangs centered on the wall. Maiden in Reynolds, Bachelor of Science in Data Science, summa cum laude. No longer hidden behind winter coats. No longer secret. My laptop chimes with an incoming video call from Layla, the 3rd student in my mentorship program for first-generation college women. Her face appears bright with news about a scholarship interview. I used that preparation technique you taught me, she says, tucking her dark hair behind her ear. When they asked why I deserved it more than others, I didn't apologize or minimize. I told them exactly what I'd accomplish with it. And I lean forward. Her smile breaks wide. They called an hour ago. I got it. You earned it, I correct her gently. There's a difference. After the call, I step into my backyard garden. Spring has coaxed the first green shoots from soil I've amended and nurtured through seasons of patience. My fingers brush the tender leaves of tomato seedlings. These will grow strong, unlike the withered roots I left behind. The letter from my therapist, Dr. Chen, sits on the patio table. 1 year of weekly sessions, documented in her precise handwriting. Patient demonstrates significant progress in establishing healthy boundaries and recognizing her inherent value, separate from family validation. Wednesday afternoons still belong to the community center, where I teach financial literacy to young women. Last week, Tanya, quick-witted 17-year-old with a spark that reminds me of myself, spotted the warning signs in a pyramid scheme targeting her mother. I showed her the numbers don't add up, she told me, cried, straightening her spine. My phone buzzes with Aunt Helen's monthly update. I scan the text. Dad and Mom still struggling to refinance the house. Chloe working part-time at the local bank, attending therapy twice a month. No mention of attempts to contact me directly. The boundary holds firm on both sides. The garden timer chimes. Time to prepare for tonight. The community center auditorium fills with steady applause as I walk toward the podium. The mentorship program I founded has been recognized for its impact on first-generation college students. The award feels substantial in my hands, glass and metal catching the light, solid and real. I scan the crowd as I speak. No empty chairs where parents should sit. Instead, Dr. Chen nods encouragingly from the third row. My neighbor, Mrs. Grayson, who brings me heirloom tomato seedlings, beams with unrestrained pride. Colleagues from work who value my analytical mind for exactly what it is. Friends who ask how I'm doing and actually wait for the answer. When I started this program, I tell the audience, I thought I was helping others find what I never had. What I discovered instead was that worth doesn't come from external validation. It grows from within when we truly see ourselves. Back home, I open my laptop to finalize details for the Reynolds Visibility Scholarship for academically accomplished students whose achievements have been overlooked. The essay question reads, describe a time your contributions went unrecognized and how you maintained your sense of value. A notification pops from Sasha, my first mentee. You saw me when no one else did. That changed everything. As twilight softens the edges of the day, I water my garden with methodical care. The tomato plants stand alongside peppers, zucchini, and herbseed. One chosen, planted, and tended by hands that know their own strength. The rustle of leaves in the evening breeze sounds like whispered approval. I touch the stem of a rosebush I pruned severely last fall. It's sprouting new growth, stronger than before. Some things grow stronger when cut back, I whisper, a smile tugging at my lips, as I survey the life I've built, thriving, rooted, and finally, completely visible.